Alright, YouTube. It is 2014 and it's been a while, and thought we'd kick off a new video for the year. Indianapolis crew, ballistic fighting methods crew, Mike Kozio came out today. We did a bunch of training and we thought we'd kick off our season with a little Q&A. Wing Chun Woman. If you guys are online, check out our sister channel, Wing Chun Woman, Fiona and Nicole. Fiona is in the United States, and Fiona is all the way out in Australia, and Nicole's out in the U.S. And Nicole did this great video a couple months ago on Takedown, a Wing Chun Takedown, and she did it based on what her level of skill was, and I thought it looked great. But then she asked me to do a video on how Wing Chun would deal with the takedown. Well, we got Wing Chun guys, JKD guy, Tai Chi and Bagua guy, and then Wing Chun guys with different levels of experience, and I thought we would all wind up talking about our views on the takedown. We all had a massive hour-long discussion earlier about, does Wing Chun have a ground game? It's going to be based on people's levels of perception. So as far as my views, you guys have seen my wrestling background, you guys have seen my wrestling videos. I'm all about taking that energy in and then what I feel on it coming in there. So one at a time, I'm just going to have everyone talk about what their views are for Takedown, and we'll use me for their demo dummy. And we'll have Shawnee kick it off.
Well, I gotta be that guy.
Because we love that.
You are that guy.
So you guys don't know Sean. Sean won, what tournament did you win again out in Indiana?
Forces, what, Spartan
Sparring tournament, yeah, whatever that was.
That was just more of a sparring. It wasn't really wrestling or grappling or whatever. I guess I'll take the China aspect of it, really, instead of Wing Chun.
And what's your background again? So they know?
I do Wing Chun Kung Fu, and I also practice China on a regular. Mainly just try to.
You just heard us with it, yeah.
And he absolutely incorporates his China in Chi Sao. It's brutal.
So
it is absolutely brutal.
China is not Chi Sao.
Exactly.
I agree. It is.
So Nicole took the takedown from a regular double leg takedown shot, and the shot is, you get your setup, whatever, you're moving, boom, moving, you penetrate and adhere. So we'll take it up from this position, and you guys obviously can't feel what energy I'm giving them, so this is going to have to be as close as possible it is to, oh, I would do this. So for the armchair quarterbacks out there, you're welcome. All right, so we're in this position. Whatever he decides to do, he's going to do.
All right, so first thing, obviously in wrestling, you got the sprawl, right? Boom, kick your legs out, yada, yada, yada. Most of the times, like what happens with me is I kind of do like a semi-sprawl, but the first thing I try to do is get control of the head. And I try to break the head up. Obviously, if they're going to send the general into the war, they're going to mess up, So I take the general right away. And the moment you control their head, you control their body. So I do a semi-sprawl, but I don't obviously go all the way to the ground because I'm a Wing Chun fighter. I try to stay up.
I know.
Sorry, boss. But the first thing I do is try to bring them back on their feet, so I try to bring them back up by controlling their head. All right, so I also take other points in their body where I try to control their arm, where I try to hook it. Sorry.
That's all right.
But I'm always giving them constant pressure. At that point, then I actually just try to take it back to striking. Obviously, if you don't work this on a regular, like the sprawl is like one of the best anti-grappling tools you got. But if you're going to do a semi-sprawl, you still got to be conscious. You're still sacrificing your legs, so you better get their head.
I like that as a wrestler, the sprawl is great, but it's not the end-all be-all. He took me in two different directions, and you guys hear me talk about energy in opposite directions. I was here, kicked it back, but he also took my head back this way and up. I don't have anything. So he's taking me, locked up, taking me back, and taking me up at the same time. It's three energies, and it's incredibly hard to deal with. So that was painful at the very least.
Sorry.
We couldn't stand that one. That's anything else to add on that?
I mean, there's all sorts of different ways you can go, but obviously we're like the middle ground fighting, so either if we're going to go against a wrestler, definitely don't want to go to the ground. I already learned that lesson a long time ago. But you always want to try to stand them back up and break your distance. Obviously, we play the wrestler's game because we're always from contact, so you got to be really wary of them taking you down. I kind of view as a wrestler, like I always try to move in and be aggressive on the wrestler because I want to make them shoot on me. I don't wait for them to shoot on me. It's a good theory to have, but at least you're semi-control of the fight. So if you're going to be the aggressor and put the pressure on them, you're going to force them to shoot. And you're better off guessing at that game than waiting on them to shoot you. Right?
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
I agree.
That's good shit. That's awesome.
I'm out. Tapped out.
There you go. That's bad. You guys know Nick. He was on one of our Q&A videos. Nick runs Ballistic Fighting Method out in Chicago. JKD guy, long-range fighter with devastating kicks, and I hate them. And Nick's got some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background as well too. So you're looking at it from not a wrestling point of view, but now you're looking at it from a distance fighter who also knows how to fight on the ground point of view. Yeah. And you know what? Because I'm small, actually you're taller, I'm going to have you jump in and do it because it's, yeah.
I'll do my best. I don't have a wrestling background or a shoot fighting background, so don't mock my takedown attempt. But we're doing.
Casey's a better shoot fighter. Old man,
young
old man.
We're doing a double leg takedown?
Sure, get in whatever position. But then again too, that's the one thing everyone thinks is you're going to fight some NCAA, wrestler on the ground. Like Nick said, what happens with all the guys who watch MMA on TV, think they can get in a fight, and they're just going to arbitrarily shoot when they're in a bar? Yeah. So what if it is someone like you who has no idea how to do a takedown, but you shoot on a takedown anyways?
Well, let me kind of make a preemptive thing here. I really hate being on the ground in the first place, especially if it's a non-competitive fight, meaning if it's a bar brawl, street brawl, that kind of thing.
We're old.
Whatever. Yeah, we just, it's a young man's game in the first place. There's a lot of variables that take place. What kind of environment are you in? Are you on the asphalt? Are you in gravel? Are you broken glass? You typically do not want to be on the ground. Does he have buddies? There's just too many variables, and it's hard to deal with, And so that's something that I always keep in mind. So if I see somebody who is preparing to do some kind of a takedown, a single leg, a double leg, a fireman's carry, a tackle, just a blitz, it doesn't make a difference to me. The first thing I typically do is open distance, okay? Because it's very tough to take somebody down who's standing 6, 7, 8 feet away from you. That penetration step doesn't cover that kind of ground. And I try and time it where they haven't really started their attack, they're kind of just getting ready, so you can start seeing them getting lower and lower, meaning they're focused on the hip or they're focused on the front leg or the rear leg. And that's typically my first time to kind of step back. That already alleviates his opportunity to snatch that front leg or snatch the hips. So in a sense, we're intercepting. While I step back, sometimes I will throw some kind of a high line attack, meaning if I start to see him get ready, I will start working my jab or working a cross or hook to get him to unload out of that structure, all right? Assuming that we got past that, meaning somehow or another he got past my hands or got past my striking, or just I had poor timing and he did get down to my hips by somehow. When he comes in, the first thing I typically do is, just like these guys said, is I sprawl, I open my base. If I keep my legs together, man, he's gonna take me right over, okay? So the first thing I have to do is get my hips down the floor and my legs behind me and in a wide base, be able to hold some kind of ground. Now, I like what Sean was doing where he was turning the head. That is definitely an option. Me personally, I feel better, just for me, to start driving him straight down. His force is going down, so I'm gonna try and drive him down. So what I do is I try and lay over, let's just say a third of his back, right over a shoulder blade. So I start driving him back down the ground before I start striking, okay?
Yeah, you'll feel that in your lower back.
You'll feel that in your lower back. You all right, brother?
No, it's good. I tried not to actually go down. I was like, that was awful.
Yeah, so that's the first thing is I try to drive him straight down, straight down, straight down. If I can disengage somewhere, nothing stops a grappling guy than a blade does, okay? So if he starts coming in close and I have this kind of weaponry available, if it's not, then that's fine. But ideally what I try and do is dissipate the pressure, don't let him get in on you. If he gets in on you, it's to drive him straight to the deck face first, and then we'll deal with it from there.
That's fantastic. I mean, why would you not bring in a real street application?
Well,
Bring out that knife.
that's what we want to do. I'm not in that.
No, that's absolutely.
Sorry about that.
Oh no, that was awesome. No, it was. I really tried to I was like, I'll lift you up. I was like, no.
No.
My old man back kicked.
Yeah, my turkey kicked in, man. So.
And then Clint, you guys know my brother Clint Cloyce from Indianapolis Wing Chun, and he did a video that I completely agreed with when he first did it, which was how to deal with anti-takedown. And I'm gonna feed you the same energy because I don't know if who did the demo?
It was Alex.
Was Alex a wrestler? He's looking at
not by trade.
He came right in.
He's just mean and has no. He's a bull in the china shop. He barges straight through it. If he has to eat 12 shots and stay conscious to do it, he'll do it.
So you got that kind of a fighting mentality coming in on you. That's great. What happens now? I'm going to eliminate the distance. And this is where everyone starts with their demos. Is what happens when you get here? Okay, now what? Well, you still have point A to point B to get to, and he talked about that. So I'm going to eliminate that distance, and we're going to. Jeez, took me to get there, couldn't get there. So now he's got to deal with here.
All right.
What happens?
Again, the common theme here, Wing Chun, it's about your base, it's about your root. If you don't want to go on the ground, what you have to do, you have to stay on your feet. So you got to do whatever you have to do to get on the feet. So again, that widening of the base. And then, you know, similar themes, different methods, but where the head goes, the body goes, right? You can't deny that physiology there. So, you know, I like to, again, my pure Wing Chun, using that forearm, say, if I can get the space here, drive that down the neck, and of course then keep widening and moving my base. I mean, it's Chi Sao 101.
No, it's fine.
I mean, if we're standing up, if we're doing Chi Sao, and he comes in and he crowds my space, I don't stay here and keep trying to play that game. I move and I move and I move. So, you know, you're looking at this from different perspectives, but yeah, if I have that ability to keep him from shooting in, you know, as he shoots, like Nick was saying, keep that distance. But once it comes in, you know, again, I'm going to follow that hit. I'm going to lower my base as much as I can, where Nick was resting his body weight on my back. Do that. I'm resting it on the head there. So at the very least, if I'm going down onto my knees, which is a similar structure to feet. It's not as good to be on your feet, but that's where I'm kind of going. But, you know, the big thing I look out for is, as we're talking about this here, is what Sean said, the practice of it, because the energy doesn't stop here.
No, it doesn't.
If he actually has had full energy at this position, I'm going down.
Yeah.
And of course, then at that point, I'm going to try and keep a hold of him as much as I can. But then, you know, there's different ways. Yeah, I know if he's going to try to up and dump, if he's going to try to just bowl me right through, I'm not really sure. So that biggest thing is just that reaction, that something's happening, and the second it, you know, it comes in and he shoots, I'm here.
Yeah, you guys have seen me use this jump out. Sean used it, he's using it.
I'm gonna give that 135-degree angle that you learn in all your stuff. I like to use that across that brachial plexus and use it as best I can to control the head from the start, and then hopefully redirect it where I want to go. I'm kind of a halfway between what he wanted, because Sean wants to bring him up. Nick would want to push him straight down. I'm trying to push always a line through them. Now that line changes as his body gets lower, but I'm pushing that line right through. But if you don't have it in the feet, it does not matter what your hands are doing as far as I'm concerned. I got the best hands in the world. But if my feet are like this, I'm going to the ground.
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever your Wing Chun, JKD, you know, Tai Chi, whatever, if you don't want to go on the ground, flats of your feet got to be there. If they're not, take jujitsu then. If that's where you want. If you want to be on your back, do that. Otherwise, you know, you don't have to, but you can do these things if you're willing to put in the time. So that's just kind of my kind of control there. Again, control yourself via feet, control your opponent via head.
That works for me. Since you wrenched my neck, you could feed Casey.
All right.
I mean, it's kind of fair to say too that, I mean, you know, takedowns have so many different variables to them, right? What kind of takedown they're doing.
Absolutely.
what
Yeah,
your
we're sticking
positioning
with
was.
double leg, that's it.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, there's a lot of variables. Forget about the technique side, but just how you were standing has a lot to do with it. And then your environment has a lot to do with it. And there's so many other variables that go on. I mean, I guarantee you that every single person that's sitting up here or standing up here can give you an infinite amount of responses. I can do this, I can do that, I can sprawl, I can do. But what I notice is, and we haven't even gotten halfway down the line here, I guarantee that as we go through, everybody's gonna come down to the same basics. Open the base, get your hips down the floor, you know what I mean? Like, basically, you're following that energy, you're driving. Yeah, yeah. I got the knife, brother.
Yeah.
So, you know, and you come from a wrestling background, you know what I mean? So what I'm finding interesting, a Chi background, a Wing Chun background, a wrestling background, JKD background, you know, a Wing Chun background, and as we go down the line all the way down to Tai Chi, I'm guessing that I'm gonna start seeing the same stuff kind of over and over, which is the fundamentals. You know what I mean? And you have to have those, you know.
Good fighting concepts.
Yeah.
Good fighting concepts.
And adapting to that particular structure.
Right.
Correct,
yeah.
you know, so.
It's understanding your
Just something to kind of
opponent,
point out, because I know there's enough YouTube black belts out there that are gonna look at me like, well, I would've done that, yeah, fuck you, yeah. I got a blade on me, you know what I mean? You saw how fast it comes out, you know what I mean? And let's see how it works against that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, the fundamentals, I think, will always be the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Ginger.
Yeah.
The ginger.
So, kind of like what they were saying, I'm kind of like in the same idea with like what Nick was saying, you know, like, if I'm already starting out here and I see this guy coming bearing down, then I'm gonna try to get away from him. I'm just gonna tag him. Maybe, I mean, eventually maybe he'll be discouraged of taking me down. It's like, okay, I just ate like 5 punches, man, I'm not gonna do it anymore. But like you said, like maybe I don't get it. I'm either gonna try to get a hand in. Again, I just sprawled, you know, open my base, but even my first reaction was just get control of this head. Where that goes, this ass is going.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do whatever I can. I don't know, maybe a arm drag or whatever. But really, what I would do, because I don't want to go on the ground either, I'm gonna do whatever I can just to get away from him. And I mean, maybe I'll push him to the ground and I'll just push him out. Or just punch him and run away again. I don't know, it just depends on what I'm feeling like. But again, like if he's coming in, I can't really, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and like roll with him, because then I just went into his game and I'm not really good at it. But if he does get in, it's just kind of getting away from him, and maybe I'll tee off and kick him, whatever. I mean, whatever I got to do, but I'm not gonna play that game with him. It's just
Was that a Wing Chun kick?
not at all. No. But just I don't know, head control, widen the base. I mean, and just getting away from him, circling out. I'm a big footwork advocate, so.
Is pressure going to dictate your tactic then?
Depending, like I said, like it's a range. Like if I see him changing levels already, I mean, I'm gonna try to tag him. But you know, maybe if I can get a hand in, no, I'll try to get a hand in because it's like a little pivot point right here.
Felt that on the break.
Yeah, my
That
bad.
was awesome.
My bad. And again, or if I don't get a hand in, I mean, I'm late. You know, of course, like you were saying earlier. I mean, if he's coming hard enough, I'm going down anyways. You're not stopping it. But if I can wind that base at least, maybe get a hand in and get that
Elbow
head out.
control, yeah.
Right.
Exactly. So then it's a matter of just getting around them, getting out of the way of this freight train coming at me. So ideally.
Yeah, like you're saying, there's just so many different takedowns. You have to deal, you know, with the pressure as you feel it, but these are just concepts and ideas to get the point across.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you
Just
see the
range.
same fundamentals over and
Abs-
over.
oh,
I think that's-
absolutely.
I think that's important to kind of point out. Like,
All right, I'm right up. I'll feed you too. You can kick my butt. I don't
Yeah,
care.
I guess it could.
Mike's got an incredible Tai Chi background, and he's like trying to move a friggin' a rooted oak tree. It's impossible. No, I think this is perfect for a wrestling application and anti-takedown application.
Well, I don't know I have anything new to add. I mean, you went over through all the fundamentals. I mean, you know, Tai Chi doesn't really do anything different. I mean, my perspective is, you know, again, rooting, you know, sensitivity. So my response is going to be whatever I feel, you know, coming in. You know, so I don't, you know, the way I like usually is I kind of like this range. So, you know, if I'm doing something, he's probably going to try to take me down from here. You know, I like to push the head to the ground.
I was trying to drive straight through, but that's still something.
Yeah, you try to drive straight through. If you get the head to the ground, it's going to stop.
Yeah.
And then I liked what you did, you know, going around. You know, ideally to me, like if I could do it in an ideal world, right? You know, as I get the head down, you know, that's even not, you know, take it, you know.
Oh.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It's what I do. But no.
Could you talk about rooting? I like what you said earlier about how root is instantaneous and in the moment, because it's a big problem that Wing Chun people have. That, you know, we're going to take this pressure and we're going to stay in rooted, but it's not there.
Yeah, so like right now, like I think, okay, I've got a root, you know, but as soon as he touches me in any way, the root I had was gone, and then it's up to me to change it and recreate it. Right? So yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier, is the root has to be constantly readjusting, reevaluating. In every moment.
the structure, absolutely.
You know, because forces coming in, he's changing what he's doing, so I can't think, okay, my root's strong, you know, I can take anything, you know, I'm just gonna stand here, you know, with my solid root, you know, like an oak tree, and take it. You know, he's gonna change it as soon as he touches me, so it's gotta be responsive.
That's
my
excellent.
perspective.
Pressure teaching has taught you that.
What's that?
Pressure testing has taught you that.
Yeah,
Like having someone
yeah,
try to,
absolutely, yeah, just, you know, going and working with people.
And
having
I think
people
that's
do
something
different
that's
stuff.
lacking. We talked about this
Yeah.
as a unit earlier
Right.
For in extensive detail. Was that, you know, there's a lack of pressure testing in certain places, right? Meaning, you know, concept is fine, technique is fine, but until you know, the fecal matter hits the blades and you're ready to do some work here. I mean, you have somebody who's trying to peel you back or trying to shoot on you and tackle you to the ground. You know, your concept's going to change, so that application's going to change. And I think that, you know, like, this has been kind of cool for me because, you know, when you walked in and we started talking, the first thing I said, I don't know anything about Tai Chi, really. I mean, a couple pushes, you know, you don't really see it as a self-defense form. It's commonly known as the health benefits and such. And, you know, watching you move around with these, you know, these guys was just, you know, it was awesome to see, you know, because the application was there. And I asked you about the application, and I thought you gave me probably one of the best answers I've ever heard in my life, which was, if you want it to be applicable, you have to train it, but if you want to apply it, You know, what I mean? Which means pressure, right?
Right,
Moving that change and
absolutely.
stuff. So I thought that was awesome. Yeah.
Good. Well, you got 5 different perspectives on how to deal with an anti-takedown as far as for a double leg takedown. Fixed in position, middle ground closed, distance closed, already in position. As far as I'm concerned, Nicole, what you did was absolutely correct. And what your job is to put it in different circumstances, different scenarios, different people, and just test the living hell out of it.
Get a real wrestler to train against.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what I was doing was garbage because I have no background, but, you know, then again, someone might not either, but still, if you can beat somebody who has that background.
But it goes back to my argument of, just like with the Danny Horgan video, here's somebody who has less chi sao experience than Wing Chun people, but he has fighting experience. So because his chi sao wasn't perfect, he got criticism. So what if a wrestler's
Man who wins
you,
a win, right?
You don't have to be a wrestler to do a takedown. You
Yeah.
could be somebody in a drunk bar. Oh wait, you didn't put both your arms around my legs. It'd be a double leg takedown. Who cares? It's pressure tested, and that's, you know, Nick has pointed out, he's absolutely correct in his experience of Wing Chun schools. It's Wing Chun versus Wing Chun, and they don't break out of their shell. So Nicole, go out and pressure test the hell out of your stuff and get real wrestlers and fake wrestlers and whatever the hell you want out there, and just try and make it work for you.
You know, there's something to be said about those fake wrestlers, because that you will run into that, the bar brawl
Absolutely.
mentality. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I just feel like whatever you do, I don't care if you're doing taekwondo, if you're doing basket weaving, I feel like you should be putting it up against realistic situations. You want real world self-defense is what your objective is. How are you going to get real worlds? I've never seen a Wing Chun versus Wing Chun fight in real life in my ever. You know what I mean? You know, unless you're watching like some Chopsaki flick or something. But what you see is like the drunken belligerent guy who swings that haymaker, and you know, you got to train against those type of confines. If you're only against this person who's standing this way the whole time, guess what you got? You might be really good against the guy who stands this way. You know, so you got to change that.
What do you do if the arms aren't there?
You got to change the stimulus if you want to really get some answers out of what your art is, what your knowledge is, what your experience is, and more about who you are as a person. You have to change the variables. You know,
Absolutely.
and you have to be willing to.
You're the common denominator.
You're the common
Absolutely.
denominator.
You got to sit there and test
And
that.
like I said before, like I had grappling experience before, so I know there's gonna be a lot of YouTube. Oh, like, you know, none of these guys know how to grapple, so what are they doing if it works against a real one? But
Sure.
I mean, I did it before, and like I said earlier, I mean, my grappling experience isn't extensive, but I mean, I did enough to where I know how to deal with it. I mean, and I did solely like no ego. I didn't do Wing Chun. I was there to learn grappling, but just enough, and then now I can adapt it on Wing Chun and like the anti-grappling stuff.
The one
where
complement
now,
the other.
Yeah, exactly. They just complement the other, and like I went out and actually did it with people that knew what they're doing versus just doing it with you know having my
Random.
little sister come over here try this, and like, oh, it works, you know. And then,
Well, and remember too, these people that train, you know, whatever you want to call grappling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, regular Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, whatever. These people that train it full time still get taken down, okay? And that's what they do. They train against takedowns full time, and it still happens. You're not going to get 100% success rate. You're not going to have the technique. If there was the technique, we don't learn it. Again, these concepts and principles to help you understand the nature of pressure, like you said, pressure testing, to understand what's going to actually happen so that it doesn't take you by surprise so you can continue the fight, is going to be just as valuable as the quote-unquote official anti-grappling technique that you have. If you understand what's going to happen, even if you're not successful, you can still continue and win that fight. Just like a real fight, you're going to get hit.
Well, familiarization, I think, has a lot to do with it. Like, you're familiar with it. You know,
Right.
like you take somebody who's never been on the ground, and we were joking about this earlier about how I learned jiu-jitsu. You know, first time I freaked out. You know what I mean? And it's only because I've never been exposed to being on the ground and having a guy who's bigger and stronger and just, you know, heavier and just take me by surprise and dump me on my back, you know, and knocks the wind out of you in the first place. Well, you do that now, at least in a controlled environment, you're starting to at least learn aspects of that.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
that familiarization is critical in anybody's martial arts success if they want to make their personal attributes work.
Definitely,
You know?
I agree.
So we
100%.
all got to train, basically. Train, get off your
Well,
ass and train.
train for what
YouTube
you want.
training's
Sense.
good. YouTube's training good, you know.
Strengthens your fingertips. Thank you so much to my guests who came out here from Indiana today, for Nick and for Mike for coming out on this this great Saturday. And Nicole, I hope this answers your question. Subscribe to Wing Chun Woman. We're going to put the link at the bottom. And of course, these guys' schools and everything at the bottom here too. And we will see you in the next video, guys. Holla.
see, there's this